Jai Saparikashi Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai, Shri Giraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Acharya Astater Sita Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Acharya Astater Sita Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Morning Class. Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. This is the 10th chapter of the Antya Lila in the second volume. The Lord Chaitanya accepts prasadam. Harivam. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Text 133. E Mata Mahaprabhu Bhakta Gana Shange Chaturmasya Gonaila Krishna Katarange. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent the entire period of Chaturmasya, the 4 months of the rainy season, in the happiness of discussing topics of Krishna with his devotees. Majje Majje Acharjadikare Nimantrana Kare Bhata Rande A Vividha Vyanjana. From time to time, Advaita Acharya and others excuse me, would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for home-cooked rice and varieties of vegetables. Mariche sorry. Marichera Jala Ar Maduram La Ara Ada Lavanna Lembu Duga Dadi Kandashara Shakaduichari Ashuk sorry. Shakaduichari Ashukutara Jola Nimba Vartaki Abishta Patola. They offered pungent preparations made with black pepper, sweet and sour preparations, ginger, salty preparations, limes, milk, yogurt, cheese, 2 and 4 kinds of spinach, soup made with bitter melon, eggplant mixed with nimba flowers, and fried patola. Vishtapula Badi Ar Mudga Dali Supa Vividha Vyanjana Rande Prabhura Ruchyanurupa. They also, I'm so sorry. They also offered pula badi, liquid moong dal, and many vegetables, all cooked according to the Lord's taste. Jagannatera prasada anekarite mishrita kaha eka yayena kaha ganera sahita. They would mix these preparations with the remnants of food from Lord Jagannath. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the invitations, he went sometimes alone and sometimes with his associates. So not mixing the preparations, but giving their own home-cooked preparations and also preparations of prasadam offered to Lord Jagannath. Acharya Ratna Acharya Nidhi Nandada Raghava Srivasari Bhakta Yatta Bhakta Viprasabha. Devotees like Acharya Ratna, Acharya Nidhi, Nandanacharya, Raghava Pandit, and Srivas were all of the Brahmin caste. E mata nimantranakare najatnakare Vasudeva Gadadhara Dasa Gupta Murari Kulinagrami Kandavasi Arajatajan Jagannatera Prasada Anikare Nimantran. They would extend invitations to the Lord. Vasudeva Gadadhar Das Murari Gupta, the inhabitants of Kulinagram and Kanda, and many other devotees who were not Brahmins by caste, would purchase food offered to Lord Jagannath and then extend invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport: the inhabitants of Kulinagram, such as Satyaraj Khan and Ramananda Vasu, were not Brahmins by caste, nor were the inhabitants of Kanda, such as Mukundadas, Naraharidas, and Raghunandan. Therefore, they would purchase prasadam from the market where the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food was sold, and then extend invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whereas Acharya Ratna, Acharya Nidhi, and others who were Brahmins by caste would cook at home when they invited the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu observed this etiquette of the current society by accepting only prasadam cooked by members of the Brahmin caste. So this was tradition and etiquette of that time. So Mahaprabhu followed many points of etiquette because he had to, otherwise it would be he would be disrespected, and then that would interfere with his influencing everyone in the divine plane. But on principle, he accepted invitations from his devotees, regardless of whether they were Brahmins by caste. Shivananda Senera Shuna Nimantrana Kyana Shivanandera Badaputrera Chaitanya Dasanama. Now hear about the invitation Shivananda Sen extended to the Lord. His elder son was named Chaitanya Das. Prabhure milaite tare sangeya nila milaile prabhu taranama tapuchila. When Shivananda brought his son Chaitanya Das to be introduced to the Lord, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired about his name. Chaitanya Das Namashunika he Gaura Rai Kiba Nama Duranacha Bijanana Jai. When the Lord heard his name was Chaitanya Das, he said, "What kind of name have you given him? It is very difficult to understand." Shenakahe Jai Janilu Se Namadarila Atabali Mahaprabhure Nimantrana Kaila. Shivananda Sen replied, "He has kept the name that appeared to me from within." Then he invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for lunch. So I was inspired to give him this name. Jagannatera Bahu Mulya Prasada Naila Bhakta Gani Lanya Prabhu Bhojanera Vasila. Shivananda Sen had brought very costly remnants of Lord Jagannath's food. He brought it in and offered it to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who sat down to accept the prasadam with his associates. Shivanandera Gaurave Prabhu Karila Bhojana Ati Guru Bhojane Prabhura Prasanna Nahe Mana. Because of Shivananda Sena's glories, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate all kinds of prasadam to honor his request. However, the Lord ate more than necessary, and therefore his mind was dissatisfied. Aradina Chaitanya Dasa Kaila Nimantrana Prabhura Abhishta Buiji Anila Vyanjana. The next day, Chaitanya Das, the son of Shivananda Sen, extended an invitation to the Lord. He could understand the Lord's mind, however, and therefore he arranged for a different kind of food. Dadi lembu ada pula badda lavana samagri dekhiya prabhura prasanna haila mana. He offered yogurt, limes, ginger, soft butter, and salt. Seeing all these arrangements, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. Purport: by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Das understood the Lord's mind. Therefore he arranged for food that would counteract the heavy meal that the Lord had eaten the previous day. Later in life, Chaitanya Das became a very learned Sanskrit scholar and wrote many books. Among those books, his commentary on Krishna Karnamrita is very famous. There is another book called Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a work of Sanskrit poetry. It is said that this was also composed by him. So this is another Chaitanya Charitamrita composed by Chaitanya Das, which is a book of transcendental poetry. Prabhu kahe e balaka amara mata jane shantushta hailan ami ihara nimantrane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this boy knows my mind, therefore I am very satisfied to accept his invitation. Atabali daddibata karila bhojana Chaitanya dasera dila uchista bhajana. After saying this, the Lord ate the rice mixed with yogurt and offered Chaitanya Das the remnants of his food. So again, we're always reminded that we are serving the Lord. The Lord is living. It's not. We're not just doing some mechanical thing, offering this to the Lord, that to the Lord. But the advanced devotees who are cooks and pujaris, they can understand from within, by the grace of the Lord, what is to be offered on any particular day. So this is a living thing. But in the meantime, we're trying our best. But we also have to keep these things in mind. Charimasa e mata nimantra ne jai Kona Kona Vaishnava Divasha Nahi Pai. The 4 months of Chaturmasya passed in this manner, with the Lord accepting invitations from his devotees. Because of a heavy schedule of invitations, however, some of the Vaishnavas could not get an open day on which to invite the Lord. Garadhara Pandita Bhatta Charja Sarvabhauma Iha Sabara Atse Bhikshara Divasa Niyama. Every month, Gadadhar Pandit and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had fixed dates on which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would accept their invitations. So this was a regular thing in their case. Gopinatha Charya Jagadananda Kashishwara Bhagavan Rama Bhadracharya Shankara Vakreshwara Majje Majje Garabate Kare Nimantrana Anyera Nimantrane Prasade Kodi Duipada Gopinathacharya Jagadananda Kashishwar Bhagavan Ramabhadra Acharya Shankara Vakreshwar who are all Brahmins, extended invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and offered him food cooked at home, whereas other devotees would pay 2 panas of conch shells to purchase Jagannath's prasadam and then invite the Lord. So there was a set amount that the devotees would pay for different varieties of Lord Jagannath's prasadam. And there are so many offerings of prasadam to Jagannath every day. Pratame achila nirbandha kodi chari panna Ramachandra Puri Bai Gataila Nimantrana. At first, the cost of Jagannath prasadam for an invitation was 4 panas of conch shells. But when Ramachandra Puri was there, the price was cut in half. Chari masa rahi godera bhakte vidaya dila nila chalera shangi bhakta shange rahila. The devotees who came from Bengal stayed with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 4 consecutive months, and then the Lord bade them farewell. After the Bengali devotees departed, the devotees who were the Lord's constant companions at Jagannath Puri stayed with the Lord. Eta kahilo prabhura bhiksha nimantrana bhakta datta vastu jaiche kaila asvadana. Thus I have described how Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted invitations and how he accepted and tasted the prasadam offered by his devotees. It's such a very big part of the divine service of the Lord to offer our cooking. It's a really extraordinary thing. And then distributing this prasadam can actually solve every problem of this world, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Tara majje ragavera jalin vivarana, tara majje parimundan richa katana. In the midst of that narration are descriptions of Raghava Pandit's bags of food and the dancing in the temple of Jagannath. Shraddhakari shuni je chaitanya rakata, chaitanya charane prema paibe sarvata. One who hears about the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with faith and love will certainly attain ecstatic love for the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without fail. Shunite amrita shama judaya karnamana se bhagyavan je kare asvadana. Narrations of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities are just like nectar to hear. Indeed, they satisfy both the ears and the mind. One who tastes the nectar of these pastimes is certainly very fortunate. Sri Raghunatha Padeja Sri Rupa Raghunatha Padejara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, 10th chapter, describing how Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tasted the prasadam offered by his devotees. Jai. Wonderful. Now we'll continue. We have some more time, so we'll continue to chapter 11, the passing of Haridas Thakur. The summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya as follows. In this chapter, it is described how Brahma Haridas Thakur gave up his body with the consent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how the Lord himself personally performed the funeral ceremony and carried the body to the sea. He personally entombed the body, covered it with sand, and erected a platform on that site. After taking a bath in the sea, he personally begged prasadam of Lord Jagannath from shopkeepers and distributed prasadam to the assembled devotees. How wonderful. Namami haridasam tam chaitanyam tam tat chaitanyam tam chatat prabhum samstitam apijam murting swanke kritva nanartayaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridas Thakur and his master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Dayamoy Jaya Dvaita Priya Nityananda Priya Jaya. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is very merciful and who is very dear to Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda. One thing we are always hearing, that Doyamoy, that Mahaprabhu and his associates are really oceans of mercy. So when we become discouraged, we should remember this. They are not affected by our weaknesses or having difficulties on one day or another. They are always affectionate and merciful to us, and they can show us many things for our progress. Jaya Srinivas Eshwara Haridasanata Jaya Gadadhara Priya Swarupa Prananata. All glories to the master of Srivas Thakur. All glories to the master of Haridas Thakur. All glories to the dear master of Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to the master of the life of Swarup Damodar. Jaya Kashi Priya Jaganandana Praneshwara Jaya Rupa Sanatana Raghunatheshwara. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya, who is very dear to Kashi Mishra. He is the Lord of the life of Jagadananda and the Lord of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. Jaya Gaura Deha Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Kripakari Deha Prabhu Nija Padadan. All glories to the transcendental form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, kindly give me shelter at your lotus feet by your causeless mercy. Jaya Nityananda Chandra Jaya Chaitanya Prana Tomara Charanara Vinde Bhakti Dehadana. All glories to Lord Nityananda, who is the life and soul of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear Lord, kindly give me engagement in devotional service at your lotus feet. Jaya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Chaitanya Arya Swacharane Bhakti Deha Jaya Dvaita Acharya. All glories to Advaita Acharya, who is treated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as superior due to his age and respectability. Please give me engagement in devotional service at your lotus feet. So Krishna Das Kaviraj is praying to Nityananda Prabhu and praying to Advaita Prabhu for engagement. Jaya Gaura Bhakta Gana Gaura Jana Prana Shabha Bhakta Mili More Bhakti Dehadana. All glories to the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the Lord is their life and soul. All of you kindly bestow devotional service upon me. Jaya Rupa Sanat. So this is something in some of the traditions that, and we hear in the Kanishta Adhikari, he's not giving much attention to devotees. But those great devotees who have the Lord in their heart, they can bestow the Lord. They can give Him. They can give service to Him. They can grant that. So that we are always praying to the devotees. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Jiva Raghunatha Raghunatha Gopala Jaya Moranatha. All glories to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they are all my masters. Shava Prasade Liki Chaitanya Lila Guna Jai Chaitaiche Liki Kari Apana Pavana. I am writing this narration of the pastimes and attributes of the Lord by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. I do not know how to write properly, but I am purifying myself by writing this description. Mata Mahaprabhu Ranila Chalebas Shange Bhaktagana Lanya Kirtana Bilas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri with his personal devotees and enjoyed the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Dine Nricha Kirtana Ishwara Darashana. Excuse me. Sorry. Dine Nricha Kirtana Ishwara Darashana Rajya Raya Swarupa Shane Rasa Asvadana. In the daytime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in dancing and chanting and in seeing the temple of Lord Jagannath. At night, in the company of his most confidential devotees, such as Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he tasted the nectar of the transcendental mellows of Lord Sri Krishna's pastimes. So, in the evenings, Mahaprabhu would be only with very, very intimate devotees like Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. Their connection with Mahaprabhu is not, it is very exclusive. It's who they are. Their transcendental position is so wonderful and worshipable. And those internal feelings of separation with the Lord, from the Lord, and union with the Lord, and so many things were all shared among those three, especially Mahaprabhu, getting great nourishment from Ramananda and Swarup Damodar. In the daytime, it is more a public affair, and in the evening, in those times, Mahaprabhu would be only together with them. Dine dine bade vikara rache atishaya chinta udvega pralapadi vyata shastrekaya. Day after day the symptoms increased, and at night they increased even more. All these symptoms, such as transcendental anxiety, agitation, and talking like a madman, were present, just as they are described in the Shastras. Swarupa Gosaya Ramananda Rai Ratri Dine Kare Donhe Prabhura Sahai. Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai, the chief assistants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, remained with him both day and night. So we can stop here and we'll continue tomorrow. But this is the later pastimes. Antya Lila means the later pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And they became very very hidden. I mean, so deep, so deep that that was not shown to the public at large. And so we're hearing from Krishnadas Kaviraj about this internal purpose of Mahaprabhu. On one level, he came to distribute the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Actually, he always comes in the Kali Yuga. There is an avatar named Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he comes in every Kali Yuga, and he distributes the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and gives so much great benefit to the world, and that is giving the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga. But in this case, Mahaprabhu has come as, Radha and Krishna's combined, and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is imbued in this one Kali Yuga with those sentiments, and those are very, very deep. And in this Antya Lila and these later pastimes of Mahaprabhu, he is going more deeply into that purpose, that internal purpose of his appearance. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions at all about any of them? Jai Sri Upadesamrta ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai.
Yesterday we read the Lord Chaitanya's love in exchange with Govinda, right? Yesterday morning.
What was that?
In the Chaitanya Charitamrita we read the love in exchange between Mahaprabhu and Govinda.
Right. Govinda means Jagannath.
Jagannath.
But in his Vijay Vigraha form, meaning the form of the Lord, the form. Maybe in the temple, the deity is not going out, but he expands into a smaller form who can go out among the people. And that Vijay Vigraha form of Lord Jagannath is called Govinda. And that, yeah. All right, let's just chant these verses. Number 1, Vacho Vegam Manasakroda Vegam Jiva Vegam Udaropasta Vegam Etan Veganyo Vishaheta Dhira Sarvam Apimam Prithivim Sasisya. To be free from these Vegam, this is a deep thing actually. It's not just a matter of fasting or this or that. Of course, we should not take more or different food than what is going to be good for our health and our service. That's one thing. But really, all of these Vegams, they're very deeply rooted, and they have their manifestation of our deep connection with this world, which is our deep connection with a sort of envy of the Lord, and we are wanting to be the supreme enjoyer. But these things will go, and especially, we are practicing these things, but not if we are too artificial, especially we're taking prasadam in order to control the tongue. And we're giving some positive engagement. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpaniyamagraha janasangas chaloyam cha sadbhir bhaktir binashati. Take that binashati, that's a very, very heavy word. So we're hearing Echai Gosai, Kodi Charana Vandan, Jahaite Bigna Nash, Avistapuran. So we're saying we're worshipping the 6 Goswamis by worshipping them all obstacles to devotion will be destroyed. So this is a very strong word.
I have a question here. By worshipping the 6 Goswamis, how can we worship the 6 Goswamis? It's just like looking at their picture and offering obeisances, or it goes deeper than that?
Yes, because we're hearing so many things. For example, Sri Rupa Goswami has given us this Upadesamrta. And actually, it's very pleasing to him that we are trying to deeply try to honor and study these things, not for the sake of intellectualism and not for the sake of knowing so many verses, you know what I mean, to impress anyone, but really trying to bring them into our heart. This is a form of worship also. And hearing about their glories, especially in relation to Mahaprabhu's pastimes, this is also worship. And also giving our service to our Guru, who is the representative of Rupa Goswami. This is the Rupa Nuga line. That is also worship. And bowing down in many ways. And the prayers to the 6 Goswamis that are in the songbook, they are also very wonderful prayers to hear about and to, again, memorize and sing. There's so many things.
Thank you.
Number 3. Utsahan nischaya darya tat karma pravartana sangatyaga sato vritte sabya bhakti prasiddhati. Okay, then. Utsahan means?
Utsahan means perseverance.
It means actually enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
And it comes from the word mahotsava. Mahotsava comes from that, like a celebration, like enthusiasm. I think it's the same word. It reminds me of it anyway. But this enthusiasm, and then nishcha. Nishta means steadiness, and so this is conviction. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go this way and that way, and allow the mind to become so frivolous. And dharya means sober, perseverance. And then pravartana, engaging, pravartana, tat karma pravartana, engaging in favorable activities. Dadati pratigrahnati guhyamakyati prichati bhungte bojayate chaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. Of course, these are the 6 exchanges of love between the devotees. Krishneti asukiritam manasadriyeta dikshasti che pranatibhischa bhajantamisham Shushushaya Bhajana Vidya Mananya Manya Nindari Shunya Ahritam Sita Shangalabdya. What is that one about?
That one is about the different gradations of relationships with those who chant the names of the Lord.
Very good. Tishtai Subhava Janiter Vapushascha Doshe Na Prakritatvam Iha Bhakta Janasya Pasyet Gangam Basanakula Buddha Pena Panker Brahmadavatvam Apagachati Niratarmai. It's really good to go through these verses and put in pencil or something the actual meanings above the word. It's very apagachati means change, I think. Let me see. Apagachati. Oh no, loses its nature. Apagachati niradharma brahmadavatvam, that liquid spirit. It doesn't lose its that quality just because of bubbles and foam and mud. Set Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kinvadaran Anudinam Kalu Saiva Jushta Swadvikramad Bhavati Tadgadam Mulahantri. And that is about the sugar candy of Krishna's name being the medicine.
Medicine for the jaundice.
For the ignorance, jaundice of ignorance. Haribol. Tannama rupa charitari sukirtana. It's like, but if you've ever taught children, you have to get them under control first. If they've been playing and everything, it takes a minute. Okay. And then giving their attention. So the mind is like that, especially our mind in the Kali Yuga. It just wanders around doing whatever it wants. So we have to get the mind under control. No. Shh. Pay attention. Give some attention. Tannama rupa charitari sukirtananu smricho kramena rasana manasi niyoja tistan bhajeta ranuragi jaganugami kalam nayedakilam ityupadesha saram. Engage and this is engaging, this very perfect type of engagement. Jai. And these are the essence of all instructions in this in this 8th verse. Now, number 9. Vaikuntaj janito varamadupuri tatrapi rasotsavad vrindaranyam udarapani ramanat tatrapi govardhanaha radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamritat plavana Goyadasya virajato viritate sevam vivekinakaha. Above Vaikuntha is Mathura, where Krishna took birth. Above Mathura is Vrindavan, where Krishna enjoys the rasa dance. Above Vrindavan is Govardhan, where Krishna plays amorously. And above Govardhan is Radha Kunda, where the nectar of Krishna's divine love overflows. What wise soul would not serve Radha Kunda at the base of Govardhan Hill? So we've been hearing in these commentaries from Srila Guru Maharaj about Brihad Bhagavatamrita and all this gradation. Now we're on page 218 in this big book here. That we meet a proper sadhu is not a chance coincidence, but it is the result of previous sukriti. Then with Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Sankirtan, and all these things, we will progress. And unconsciously, unknowingly, we can pass over the different subtle strata of Maya. Shattapatra Bedanyai. It takes no time to pierce through the whole of 100-petaled lotus. But if we analyze this, we will see that gradually the needle is passing through each one of the 100 petals. If you take a big needle and you stack 100 lotus petals, it is very easy to go straight through. But it does go through one after another. So there are different phases in progress, but it is very subtle. Similarly, consciously we may pass through the different strata. And who will choose any other prospect than to pass through all these different strata of divine reality? What other thing are we going to do with our life? We have to pass through all the stages: Viraja, Brahmaloka, Shivaloka, Vaikuntha, and so on. But there may be no stopping at these stations. We may quickly pass through them towards our destination, one station after another, like a train that passes many stations without stopping. Necessarily, we will pass through these stages, but it may be very quickly and unconsciously. If we somehow feel some special attraction somewhere, we may stop, but if our guide is strong, they will say, no, 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 no stopping here. There is no charm. What is here is this and that. It is only detention and has no absolute value. Come forward. Still, we must be careful to follow the steps properly. No step should be ignored. We must move to the higher, the next, and then the next. And we must remember that only our soul can have experience and get membership in the highest plane, not this body and mind. So all of these things, which we consider very concrete, they will all be left behind with the body and the mind. What is on the bodily platform or the mental platform, these things are not going to remain significant at all. Neither the eye nor the mind can grasp that thing. The soul will be awakened, and then all the rulings of the mind and the senses will evaporate. We will get the true body of our soul and emerge from our present conscious body and mind. Everything must be of the spiritual order. The imitation is the Sahajya school. Try to find what they have heard about Krishna in the mundane plane. But that is not possible. We have to go there through sadhana under the direction of a real sadhu. Upajiya Bade Lata Brahmananda Bedi Jai Viraja Brahmaloka Bedi Paravyama Pai Tabi Jai Tad Upari Goloka Vrindavan, from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The creeper of devotion grows gradually and pierces through all the different stages of mundane conception, from gross to subtle, Bhuva Sva Mahajana Tapa Satyaloka, and then Viraja and Brahmaloka. Are you familiar with these terms?
Viraja and Brahmaloka? No.
So, Bhuva Svahata, that's all within the mundane plane. Mm-hmm. Just finer and finer levels of mundanity.
Buddha Svaha?
Huh?
Could you please repeat the name of the plane of mundanity?
Bhuva, Sva, Maha, Janatapa, and Satya. Those are from here. This is Bhuloka, the earth plane. And like Sudushan's always saying, we have a certain set of senses that can perceive a certain amount of information. Mm-hmm. But there's so much more. And going deeper, there's more planes, but they're finer and finer going up and grosser going down. So, but those are all still with connection to mundanity. Even Satyaloka, where Lord Brahma resides, may be mundane. It is mundane, but Brahma may not be mundane, or he might be mundane. Whoever is taking that position may be a mundane, may still have connection with mundanity, and he is Brahma by dint of karma, and that will be temporary. Or he may be a great devotee, which is the case of this Brahma, as we will hear in the passing of Haridas Thakur.
You say in connection to mundanity, meaning that soul thinks his master? Is that saying?
On some subtle level, that's still going on. There's still connection with something. But then we hear on Tapaloka, I mean, this is all in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the second volume. This first volume now we've begun. It is Narada going and meeting different levels of devotees, and that's also super instructive. And the second volume is the journey of Gopakumar through all these different strata of consciousness within the mundane plane, then crossing that. He has some experience of Brahmaloka while he is staying with the four Kumaras. But he doesn't like it at all. And he wants to leave that plane. He says, why I want to return to Lord Jagannath. And anyway, then so many things happen. Then he goes beyond Brahmaloka to Shiva Loka. And we see this also with Narada. Narada is finding Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva beyond Brahmaloka in the transcendental plane, and Lord Shiva is saying, no. Then above Lord Shiva is Vaikuntha, then Ayodhya, and Dwarka, Mathura, Vrindavan, and then within Vrindavan so much gradation. So, but within the mundane plane, we may be very impressed, but we need to read about these things carefully so that we are not distracted by mundane things, mundane miracles. I mean, what to speak of on this planet? I mean, this planet is not so amazing. There's so many more subtle, miraculous, mystical things to be found above. But even those, we must not be distracted by any of them. Any question about that? And we can read about this very carefully, because these planes of existence are there, and we can enter into them. But if we're distracted by that, then what a waste of time. The creeper of devotion goes gradually and pierces through all. So the creeper of devotion, that seed that is planted by Gurudev, the seed of the Maha Mantra, that can pierce through all of them and go beyond. What else is going to do that? What else? How else will we pierce through all these positions and go beyond the whole mundane plane of existence? How else? It is through this creeper. And it can pierce through all of that. It can go to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. That's that kind of seed. And where are you going to get that? Nowhere. Only by that great devotee who has that. He can give it. Very rare. The creeper of devotion goes gradually and pierces through all the different stages of mundane conception, from gross to subtle. Bhu, Bhuva, Sva, Mahan, Janatapa, Satyaloka. And then Viraja and Brahmaloka. And you're chanting some of that in the first line of the Brahma Gayatri. In the Brahma Gayatri, Om Bhur Bhuva Svata Savatur Varnyam, all that. Then it touches the land of Vaikuntha, the plane of perfect, real, infinite conception. Only after passing through that does it go to Vrindavan. From calculative devotion, we come to continuous devotion based on love, the plane that is causeless and irresistible. There we find Krishna with his paraphernalia engaged in his Lila, and gradually we may be accepted. Iha mali seche shravana kirtanadi jal. As the devotional creeper reaches toward that stage in this world, the owner of the creeper will pour water on the root of the creeper within their heart. We must try to nurture the creeper on our level by watering it with the practices of hearing, chanting, and so on. And overhead in the background, the creeper may grow up. We are to do sadhana, cultivation of Krishna, through sadhu sangha, nam sankirtan, and worship the deity, Sri Murti Archa. We will engage in service to Sri Gurudev and the Vaishnavas, and these other duties we will perform while internally our aspiration will rise up and up and up. Then one day, by the association of that creeper, we will be taken up to the highest stage. Automatically and naturally, we will be taken there. So Guru Maharaj is saying many times, we must concentrate on the duty at hand. What is my seva now? What is my seva? What instructions have I been given by my Guru, by the scriptures, by the Vaishnava? And give good attention to that. Automatically, whatever needs to be arranged for our progress will come. It will come automatically. And that creeper will grow, and we are concentrating on our duty. Any questions about that?
Kyo is asking, what is a creeper of devotion?
Well, the seed of devotion, it is compared to that, like a seed. When we put a seed in the ground, then a creeper means like a climbing vine, like a vine. And then the end there is a blossom. So the seed is placed in the heart by the pure representative of Mahaprabhu. That seed, and we are watering that seed through our sadhana in the mood of surrender, of course. That is the life of the sadhana. And then it will grow. But we are concentrating on our sadhana. We're not looking, how am I doing in terms of Krishna pastimes and all those things. We shouldn't take too much, pay attention to things like in that mood. But we are trying to do our service, and anything that is necessary for our progress will come to us. That will be shown to us. But if we try to climb the wall and peek over into something higher than the position that we're in, we won't find anything there. That is not the way that's done. So the creeper of devotion, it's compared, the progress, the internal progress to the blossoming of pure love of God. That's compared to a creeper growing. Is that pretty clear? Jai Shri Upadesamrta ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai. How rare and wonderful. Prabhuji, do you mind giving me the drum? Yes. Sorry, I forgot about it. Any other questions? Do you have any? Thank you. Thank you.
That's my goal. To open the curtain before the Hadiyavaya. I don't know when to get it done, but I try to.
Sure there's enough time for the Lord.
Well, that way the Lord can be, wait for everything.
Okay. Hare Nama Krishnaya
Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Gaurila Prakasa Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Harinam Sankirtana Koke Narotamadas Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Guru Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Guru Hari Jai Guru Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Guru Hari
Jai Saparikashi Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Astutar Sada Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Astutar Sada Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Shamananda Srinivas Thakur Prabhu Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopagopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakha Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand Hari Bol.
Jai Srimati Shri
Jai Shri
Lekha Jai.
Upadesamrta Ki Jai. Okay, there are Dandavat.
Kumkum Didi Ki
Jai.
Ganga Lila Didi Ki Jai. Tunga Rasa Didi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhima Krishna Prabhu Ki
Jai. Who Prabhu?
Bhima Krishna Prabhu.
Abhima Prabhu. Ki Jai.
Q Namaskar. He says
Yeah.
again, thanks for reading to us, Srimati, Sri Lekha, Devi, Dasi,
Oh, I'm
Devi.
real happy to have you
And then Bhaktimboni,
coming here.
Devi,
Bhakti Bani, Ki Jai.
Jai. Alright.
Alright.